Ethiopia playing their home games in that qualifying campaign in Malawi, Morocco and Mozambique. Starting off their World Cup bids with a couple of games in Morocco as well. Foul committed by Solomon. Stopping Karoma for advancing any further. Just nudged it to the left of the defender and was chopped down by the Ethiopia centre half. Well, let's see if they can create something at Sierra Leone. One cross in the first half. Hatamu looked uncomfortable under. And comes across here, and it's going to be a goal kick. Both sets of players appealing for a decision in their favour. It was taken short and then whipped in from the left-hand side. Solomon and Alhaji Camara, the Sierra Leone captain, challenging for it. In the eyes of the referee, it came off Camara last. Yusuf. Nice ball up ahead. Well controlled too by Dagnachu. One of the main creative forces in this Ethiopian side. Srifel Dagnachu. Yusuf. And Dagnachu, first time ball in. Not the best of deliveries. And ball against Morse, the decision. Not sure he could do an awful lot about it, but it's going to be a free kick all the same. That's the point he's making. Morse. Make a second substitution here, Ethiopia. Gizan goes off, and on comes Hatamu Tadesse. Plays for last year's Ethiopian runners-up, Baheda Kinema. Tadesse. And Dagu swings it in towards the far post. It's a decent-looking ball, and, well, it was a touch from the Sierra Leone defender, Samadia. That made its goalkeeper, Sese, have to dive at the far post to keep it out. Very nearly an own goal. 10 minutes into this second half. It was a fabulous ball in from Dagnachu. And nearly brought about the opening goal. The man who's just come on wearing the number 9 for Ethiopia has had some success in the Confederation Cup this season. In the qualifying rounds, got both goals against Club Africa in the first leg. Unfortunately, the tie would finish 3-2 in favour of the Tunisians. Was also on target in the second leg of the previous round against Tanzania's Azam. 10 goals as well last season in the Ethiopian top flight. So a man very much capable of getting his name on the score sheet, which is exactly what Ethiopia and their coach, Gebremeddin Haile, are looking for as we approach the hour mark. Yusuf threads it down the left-hand side again, and Dagnachu in pursuit alongside Dumbuya, who eases the Ethiopian aside. Cleverly done by the holding midfielder. Tamu rolls it out to Adugna. Yusuf. Well, gets away from Guksa. Search off Osman Keke. He usually plays at centre-back for his club QPR, but also more than capable of operating at right-back, as is the case for his country. And Solomon. Adugna. Adugna keeping his place in the team at right back after finishing the AFCON qualifying and campaign there. Well, Dagnachu stays with it and just let it roll there, Yusuf. I thought he was in an offside position. And the foul committed by the second Ethiopian substitutes, Tedessa. So it's going to be a first change of the evening for Sierra Leone. Abu Demboya coming off. Double switch in fact. Augustus Kyagbo are making way to Sule Keke. And Ibrahim Silla introduced by Amadou Karim. Ethiopia here, pressing forward again. Plays with Cambridge United in the English third tier, Sule Keke. Born in London. A graduate of the Crystal Palace Academy. Made 3 Premier League appearances for the Eagles. Got some defending to do though here. Sierra Leone. Just a loose touch from Tedesse. Deprived himself of a potential shooting chance there. Ball was run back into his path by Yusuf. In comes the corner. And claimed well by Sese. Well, just going back to Sule Keke. Just the 3 Premier League appearances, but appeared at 2 of football's most famous grounds, Old Trafford and Anfield. I played in a 2-0 loss against Manchester United at the end of the 2016-17 Premier League season, and then featured in Crystal Palace's 1-0 defeat away to Liverpool early in the following campaign. I never ended up making the grade though at Selhurst Park. I had a number of loan spells, including with Brentford when they were back in the Championship, and at Charlton. A stint in the Netherlands too. Dagnachu with another opportunity here with this dead ball. Put in a really inviting delivery earlier on in this second half that caused problems for Sierra Leone. This one, not of the same quality, however. Well, they're in here perhaps. Ethiopia still going. Down he goes. Referee tells the forward to get up. I've got to spare a thought for the man in the middle as well with a whistle in conditions like this. Certainly not easy for him, to say the least. Dagnachu. Solomon. Dugna. This is Bayer. Panom. Launch forward again. It's going to be a goal kick for Ethiopia, Sierra Leone rather. That was the penalty appeal they had. Outstretched arm from Capia as Markner went sprawling. Certainly seen them given, not on this occasion though. Keke races back to collect. Finds his captain upfield. This is Karoma. Showing some good touches this evening, Karoma. Morsay driven low. Cut out on the edge of the 6-yard box. Dagnachu. Markner. Panom. Brought down well by Guksa. He's trying to stroke it into the path of the left back, Yusuf. So another change coming up for Sierra Leone as Haji Camara hands over the skipper's armbands to Osman Keke. It is Mohamed Abuya Toure who enters the fray for the last 25 minutes or so. Scored 3 goals in the friendlies last month. His first goals for Sierra Leone. Toure. Majid Karim turns to him here midway through the second half, hoping for a similar impact. Denmark-based striker plays for Odense. This is Adugna. Trying to carve out the space down the right-hand side, Ethiopia. Panom. Adugna again getting involved. That's a good silky dribble here. It needed that challenge. The ball was knocked out. One of the Ethiopian players is down in a spot of bother.
Hey, are you pregnant?
A number of the Ethiopian players gathered around their stricken teammate here. A chance just to rehydrate as well. It is Surafel Adagnachu, who's a player struggling right now, and
I cannot come there.
he would be a big loss if he has to go off here, which seems to be what Gareth Bey was gesturing towards his dugout. Well, the stretch has been brought out. Looks as if it might be a groin issue for Adagnachu. There's a break in play, allowing Ibrahim Assese to have some tape reapplied. Sira Tesfaye, the number 8 for Ethiopia. Looks as if he is going to be the player brought on here for Adagnachu. A regular for Baheda Kinema, Tesfaye. Played every minute of both the first and second qualifying rounds in this season's CAF Confederation Cup. So Tesfaye takes the place of Ethiopia's number 10. So play restarts. Ethiopia are back on the ball. Bayer. Well, it's been misplayed there by the defender. Out comes the keeper and does well. Ibrahim Assese. It just looked as if it was misjudged by the centre-back, and Assese alerts to the danger. Race out and scooped up the ball at the feet of the striker. Well, just going back to one of the substitutes brought on by Sierra Leone, Mohamed Buya Toure. He grabbed the headlines last year when he had his brother step in his groom at his wedding after there was a date clash with his unveiling. There could be a chance here, potentially for Ethiopia. Instead, it ends up being fallen upon by Ibrahim Cisse. So just going back to that anecdote about Toure. And his brother step in as the groom at his wedding after there was a date clash with his unveiling in pre-season at Malmo. And the Swedish club he joined last year, no longer with them. But a rather funny story, that one. We'll pose for some photos with his bride a few days ahead of the wedding, but the day itself, it was his brother who took his place. And the referee is going to reach into his pocket again here, and it's the man just on for Ethiopia, Sira Tesfaye, who is shown the yellow card, just tugging back Al Hassan Karuma. That proved a pretty short-lived return to Sweden for Toure. Now in Denmark, had won the Swedish top flight with Djurgårdens in 2019. He was the top scorer for the club then in their title-winning season. Also had a spell in China as well. Kakai, I couldn't keep it alive. Referee just having a chat here with his assistants. Not entirely sure what it's about. There seems to be a little bit of a disagreement perhaps, but nonetheless, it's going to be a throw for Ethiopia. Before that, we're going to have another substitution made. So Jonathan Morsay replaced by Alpha Conte. As if Alusina Karuma might be getting ready as well. It is Karuma. So he's going to come on for Tyrese Forner, the debutant. It's a handshake from his coach as well as the members of the Sierra Leone staff. So Alusina Karuma joins his twin brother Al Hassan, who we've seen still based in Spain in the fourth tier with Vélez. As a regular during AFCON qualifying. Still quite can't work out what is the issue here, unless it's to do with the conditions once again. Has lifted to an extent, but still, it's far from ideal. Osman Kakai involved in the conversation as well. The pause in at proceedings here, and it's as if players are... Oh, Kakai is certainly heading off. There's the referee and all of his assistants on this near touchline, both going over to speak to the fourth official. Ibrahim Sesse adding his opinion as well. Oh, just over 10 minutes left in this second half, but a lengthy stoppage here. Rather bemused looks on players from faces from both sides. Most of the Sierra Leone team are gathered around on the touchline with their coach, Haidu Karim. Ethiopia, for the most part, surrounding the officiating trio, trying to find out what's going on at the moment. It does look as if the fog is closing in again. Not quite as bad as it was at the end of that first half, but certainly making life tricky for both players and officials. Well, Sierra Leone would certainly like this match to be completed. Avoid them the headache of potentially having to come back to Morocco to complete this match. Ethiopia, they will at least stay here for the next week or so. Second qualifier scheduled for a Tuesday. Burkina Faso will be their opponents then. Some players trying to stay warm out there. real indication as yet whether we're set to resume imminently or not. It does look as if, though, the players are getting back into position. It should be a throw-in down deep inside the Ethiopian half. And so ultimately, it doesn't appear to be a too lengthy a delay in the end, but we still should have a fair bit of time added on. Best part of 20 minutes or so surely still remain in this match. Well, that's a view of what life's like for Ibrahim Sisse right now. Yusuf with the throw. They are back underway at least. Ethiopia inching forwards. Actually goes back to Yarez Beyer. Solomon over to the right. Yusuf. Okay, winning it back for Sierra Leone. Yusuf now for Ethiopia. This is Gugsa. Sierra Leone have made their 5 allotted substitutions. A couple still remain for Ethiopia. So we're heading to the final stages of this game. Sierra Leone winning the free kick deep inside their own half. And this time, the decision going the way of Ethiopia. Trying to get the ball back quickly was Tesfaye. One of the 3 second half substitutes for the hosts. A bit of space here for Sierra Leone, but rather rushed that, and Alpha Conte not all happy down here on this right-hand side. Based in the English 4th tier with Grimsby, Conte. Gugsa, Tesfaye, Solomon. Knocks it upfield. I haven't seen it too much of the half-time substitutes. Emmanuel Gebremichael. A part of the St. George exodus. A signing for Fazil Kenema in September after St. George were knocked out of the Champions League qualifying rounds by Al Ahly. It was his goals that helped fire Mekele to the 2018-19 Ethiopian title, as he finished a top scorer. And did that when Gebremedine Haile was the man in charge as well of Mekele. That was the second of back-to-back titles won by Gebremedine with different clubs, having won the league title the season before with Jimma Abba Jafar. Kake. Let's pick out a teammate. Laid off, first-time shot. Well, that's certainly one of the better opportunities that Sierra Leone have had this evening. That was a nice piece of play to create the chance as well. First-time layoff, and the strike ends up being turned behind. Well, we've just got into the last minute of the 90. But again, there's going to be another interruption here. Referee again consulting his assistants. I don't think they're happy with the deteriorating conditions. Well, players are all making their way over to the sideline as well. 90 minutes are up, presumably there'd be a fair bit of time to be added on. Just a question of when play is going to get back underway. So very hard counts of that shot through the fog. It resulted in a corner. Well, it's going to be a late night, certainly, for all involved in El Jadida. Famous for its old city walls, but on tonight's evidence as well. Infamous for the coastal fog. Like okay, in the ear of the referee as well. So the delay rumbles on here. Again, players from both sides trying to stay active, not to seize up here in these closing minutes. Very demanding of the players, just mentally as well as physically, just the extra strain of having to try and stay loose while staying in the heat of the battle as well, and I'll be ready at any moment to resume playing. Certainly not easy. Particularly given it's something that's far from used to dealing with. The referee and his two assistants again just having a chat amongst themselves. Osman Kakai talking things over with his coach as well, along with Hassan Karuma. Well, when we do get back underway, assuming that is the case, it'll be interesting to see how much time is added on by the referee. It's been a very stop-start second half after a 45-minute delay after half-time. Well, the officials were hoping and waiting for the fog to lift. It did to a degree, but again, as settled in once more in Al Jadida. There is Portuguese fortified city of Mazagan, was registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2004. It's a really picturesque venue for tonight's game, but has been rather hindered by the fog. Well, this delay has been going on for 7 minutes now. You'd have to think, given they waited it out for the best part of an hour at half-time, that they'll try and do the same again here in the hopes of playing this game to its conclusion. It has to be said that perhaps won't be one that lives long in the memory. Chances have been few and far between. So it does look like this corner is finally going to be taken. Well, 9's the number held up on the fourth official's board. So, still plenty of time left here in El Jadida. The corner is delivered in. There. Drifting forward, the central defender brings out to the right-hand side, but Sierra Leone back on the ball. Conte calling for it. Comara tries to hold off his marker, does so nicely. Conte supplied here by Kake. Conte drifts past one, but Ethiopia quick to closing down, still going here. Conte spins out of trouble. This is Kuruma. Quick to win it back as well. Sierra Leone tries to thread it through to Conte. And that will relieve some of the pressure for Ethiopia. Well, I'm not sure what these two teams were expecting this evening in terms of how they'd start their qualifying campaign, but it's fair to assume that they weren't expecting a match that would last close to 3 hours, all told, including a long stoppage for a weather delay. Conte, he's looked pretty lively since coming on. Conte scoops it into the area. The keeper collects it at the second attempt. Rather thankless task for the two goalkeepers tonight, trying to protect their goals without necessarily fully knowing where the ball is. Chance here for Ethiopia to throw players forwards as well. Corner delivered in from the right-hand side. Back into the area and again headed away. This is Yusuf. Solomon. Searching ball forwards. Well, they have cancelled each other out for the most part this evening. Ethiopia and Sierra Leone. Hard to really pick out a standout performer. Surafel Dagnachu put in a couple of good deliveries. Showed some creativity before he was ultimately forced off in the second half through injury. And the Warriors will be hoping that it's nothing that keeps him sidelined for too long, because he'll be back in action in 6 days' time. Taking on at Burkina Faso. The big challenge awaits Sierra Leone on Sunday. Mohamed Salah and Egypt. And that game also taking place on neutral territory in Liberia. Chance here late on perhaps, and it just eludes Habtamu Tedes, the Ethiopian substitute. It was Guksa who tried to nudge it into his path, couldn't quite get there. And they come again, Ethiopia. Marknet. It's going to be Sierra Leone's ball. Just inside their own half. A late substitution here. It's going to be made by Ethiopia, rather. Janet Guksa coming off. Fitsum Tilahun on in his place. Nice for Bahedar Kinema as well. A couple of goals against Tanzania's Azam in the Federation Cup. Qualifying first rounds. I came on for the second half of September's 1-0 defeat by Egypt in Ethiopia's final AFCON qualifier. Just got to be careful not to switch off late on the Ethiopian defence. In that case for both sides, in fact. And there goes the final whistle. And it's going to finish a goalless between Ethiopia and Sierra Leone. Well, a memorable match, if not for the usual circumstances or reasons. But in the end, it's honours even between Ethiopia and Sierra Leone in the fog in Morocco. As this match finishes 0-0 in Group A of qualifying for the FIFA World Cup 2026. Nothing to separate these two sides in the end. A match that almost lasted 3 hours with the delays. A 0-0, the final score. Well, we got there in the end, got to full time. It didn't necessarily look like that was going to be the case at the interval with the heavy fog, but in the end, managed to play the match to its conclusion. And it finished level between Ethiopia and Sierra Leone on match day 1 in Group A of FIFA World Cup 2026 qualifying. Oh, plenty more qualifiers over the course of the next few days. But for now, it's a good night and until next time.